The massive space station hung like a metal star against the dark canvas of space. Its silver arms stretched out in all directions, catching the light from 3 nearby suns. This was where humanity would make its mark on the galaxy, and Lisa Reed couldn't stop her hands from shaking as she looked through the ship's window. "Ambassador, we're ready to dock," the pilot said over the intercom. "The Galactic Council is waiting." Lisa straightened her dark blue uniform and checked her reflection one last time. At 45, she had earned every silver strand in her short brown hair. Each one represented a conflict solved, a war prevented, or a peace treaty signed. Earth had chosen her for this mission because she got results, but this was different. This time, she wasn't dealing with human nations. She was representing all of humanity to the stars. The ship glided into the docking bay with a gentle hiss. Through the airlock windows, Lisa could see the welcoming party. Aliens of all shapes and sizes stood in neat rows. Some had scales that shimmered like oil on water. Others had too many eyes or not enough. And a few looked almost human, if you ignored the blue skin or extra arms. "Remember the briefing," Lisa whispered to herself. "Show strength through peace." The airlock door opened with a soft whoosh. Lisa stepped out, her back straight and her head high. The alien diplomats watched her every move. They had all heard the stories about humans, the Death Worlders, the Gravity Worlders, the creatures that had evolved on a planet that tried to kill them every day. A tall figure stepped forward from the group. It looked like a praying mantis made of polished steel, standing nearly 8 feet tall. The translator in Lisa's ear crackled to life as it spoke. "Ambassador Reed of Earth," the creature's voice came through as deep and metallic. "I am High Commander Vex of the Steelheart Empire. Your reputation precedes you." Lisa bowed exactly 15 degrees, not too low to show weakness, not too high to show disrespect. "The honor is mine, High Commander. Earth looks forward to joining the galactic community." She could feel the tension in the air. The Steelheart Empire was known for its military might, and here she was, a human carrying no weapons, wearing no armor, just a simple uniform and a smile. "Is it true?" Vex's head tilted at an angle that would have snapped a human neck. "That your world still has active volcanoes, and that your people live near them?" "Yes," Lisa smiled. "Some of our biggest cities are built in volcanic regions. We've learned to live with nature's fury." A murmur went through the crowd. One of the scaled aliens in the back rows actually took a step backward. "And the earthquakes?" another diplomat asked. "The storms that can level cities?" "We rebuild," Lisa said simply. "It's what humans do." High Commander Vex's metallic mandibles clicked together, their equivalent of a thoughtful hum. "Yet you come to us speaking only of peace. Your species survives such hardships, but you seek diplomacy over conquest." "Curious." Lisa met the commander's compound eyes steadily. "We learned long ago that the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fires, High Commander. But strength doesn't always mean war. Sometimes, the greatest strength is knowing when not to fight." The commander's antennae twitched, a sign of surprise or respect, according to Lisa's briefing. "Welcome to the Galactic Council, Ambassador Reed. I think you will make things interesting." As the diplomatic party moved toward the council chambers, Lisa caught glimpses of Earth's ship through the station's massive windows. What the aliens couldn't see was the quantum transmitter hidden in her collar pin, sending constant updates to Commander Stone's cloaked fleet just outside the system. Earth had learned to be peaceful, yes, but they had also learned to be prepared. Peace was humanity's first choice. It always would be. But if peace failed, the dogs of war were never far behind, waiting silently in the dark between stars. The council chambers awaited, and with them, humanity's first step into a larger universe. Lisa straightened her shoulders and walked forward, carrying the hopes of Earth with every step. The real work was about to begin. The council chamber was a perfect circle, with seats rising up like stairs in every direction. Lisa sat in Earth's newly assigned spot, trying not to show her worry as she watched the emergency meeting unfold. Above them, a massive hologram showed hundreds of destroyed worlds, each one turning to dust as something moved through the galaxy like a hungry beast. "The Ravagers have destroyed another system," announced the Council President, a tall being made of shifting crystals. "They will reach Council space in 30 days. The chamber erupted in fearful whispers. Lissa noticed how the Steelheart commander, Vex, gripped his seat with his metallic claws, leaving deep marks in the ancient material. "We must evacuate the outer worlds," said one diplomat, their tentacles waving in panic. "Evacuation is impossible," another shouted. "There are billions of people out there." Lisa's quantum transmitter buzzed silently against her neck. A text message scrolled across her neural implant. "Fleet ready. Awaiting orders. Commander Stone." She took a deep breath and stood up. The chamber fell quiet. Humans were still new enough to draw attention whenever they spoke. "Earth offers its help," she said clearly. The translator carried her words to every corner of the chamber. The Crystal President turned toward her, light reflecting off their faceted surface. "Ambassador Reed, while we appreciate the offer, your world is new to space travel. The Ravagers have destroyed civilizations that were spacefaring before your people invented the wheel." Lisa nodded respectfully. "True, but sometimes new eyes see old problems differently." She walked to the center of the chamber, where she could be seen by all. "Show us everything you know about the Ravagers. Every battle, every tactic, every piece of data you have." The council members looked at each other. Finally, the president waved a crystalline arm, and the hologram changed. It showed massive ships, black as space itself, moving in perfect formations. "They attack in swarms," Vex explained, his metallic voice echoing. "No mistakes, no mercy, no survivors. We've lost every battle against them." Lisa studied the images carefully. "Have you noticed that they never change their patterns? Even when they're losing, they stick to the same formations." The chamber went quiet again. Even the president leaned forward. "What are you suggesting, Ambassador?" Vex asked. "They're not thinking. They're following programming." Lissa pointed to the battle formations. "Look, it's perfect, too perfect. No living army fights like this. They're automated, running on old combat software, and any program can be beaten once you know its rules." She touched her transmitter, sending a quick signal. Above them, the hologram suddenly changed. New ships appeared, Earth vessels, their designs strange to alien eyes. "What is this?" the president demanded. "Earth's contribution to the council," Lisa said calmly. "While we were learning to live in peace, we never stopped preparing for war. These ships are piloted by our most advanced AI systems, based on the minds of our greatest military leaders. We call them the Dogs of War." Vex stood up suddenly, his metal frame gleaming. "You've been hiding these capabilities." "Not hiding," Lisa corrected with a small smile. "Being prepared. On Earth, we have a saying: if you want peace, prepare for war. We come offering friendship and cooperation, but we're ready to fight if we must." The chamber burst into chaos. Some council members were angry at the deception. Others were relieved at the offer of help. The president had to strike their crystalline arm against their desk 3 times to restore order. "You understand," the president said to Lisa, "that this revelation will change how the council views Earth." Lisa nodded. "We hope it will. Because right now, you don't need diplomats who only know how to talk. You need allies who know how to fight." She looked up at the hologram, where Earth's ships hung like dark promises against the stars. Commander Stone's message flashed again in her vision. "Phase 1, complete. Proceed." The Dogs of War were ready to be unleashed. Now she just had to convince the council to accept humanity's true nature, not just as peacekeepers, but as warriors who had chosen peace. The attack came without warning. One moment, the council station's sensors showed empty space. The next, hundreds of black ships tore through the fabric of reality. The Ravagers had arrived 2 weeks early. Lisa ran through the shaking corridors of the station, holding onto walls as another blast rocked the structure. Around her, aliens of all species rushed to emergency shelters. Her neural implant was flooded with data from the station's systems. All council members to secure locations, the station AI announced in every known language. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. The main viewing chamber showed the horror unfolding outside. The Ravager ships moved like a swarm of angry wasps, their black hulls absorbing energy weapons like they were nothing. The station's defensive shields flickered under the assault. "By the stars," whispered High Commander Vex, his metallic frame reflecting the explosions outside. "They've never attacked with such numbers before." Lisa's quantum transmitter buzzed. Commander Stone's message was brief. "Orders." She looked at the council president, who stood frozen, their crystalline body reflecting the chaos outside. "Mr. President, we need to act now. Earth's fleet is ready." Another blast shook the station. Warning lights flashed everywhere. "Station shields at 40%, the AI announced calmly. The president's crystal surface rippled with stress patterns. "Do it." Lisa pressed her transmitter. "Commander Stone, execute Protocol Alpha. Release the dogs." At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself appeared to bend. Earth's hidden fleet dropped their stealth fields, appearing like ghosts materializing from nothing. Leading them was the flagship Thunderchild, its hull gleaming with the latest adaptive armor technology. "This is Commander Stone." A voice boomed through all channels. "All dogs of war, attack pattern Delta. Protect the station. Show them what humanity can do." The Earth ships moved with impossible grace. Unlike the rigid formations of the Ravagers, these vessels flowed like water, adapting and changing tactics in real time. The AI pilots, modeled after Earth's greatest military minds, predicted and countered every Ravager move before it happened. "Magnificent," Vex breathed, watching as a squadron of Earth fighters cut through the Ravager formation like a hot knife through butter. "They fight like dancers." Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "We learned from every war in our history, every mistake, every victory, every strategy. All of it went into creating the dogs of war." On the main screen, the battle unfolded like a deadly ballet. The Ravager ships, for the first time in known history, seemed confused. Their perfect formations broke apart as Earth's vessels attacked from impossible angles, using maneuvers that defied normal space combat doctrine. "Station shields at 20%, the AI warned. Commander Stone's voice crackled through Lisa's private channel. "Ambassador, we need to do something crazy. Request permission to execute maneuver Thermopylae." Lisa's eyes widened. That maneuver was theoretically possible, but had never been tested in real combat. "The risk is necessary," Stone cut in. "Trust the dogs, Ambassador. They've run the calculations." Lisa looked at the council president and Vex. "Our ships are about to try something unusual. I suggest everyone hold on to something." The Earth fleet suddenly pulled back, forming a sphere around the station. The Ravagers, programmed to chase retreating enemies, hollowed. Just as their black ships entered optimal firing range, Commander Stone gave the order. "All ships, dive." Every Earth vessel activated their gravity drives at the same moment, creating a massive artificial gravity well. The Ravager ships, caught in the effect, were pulled into each other like leaves in a whirlpool. Their rigid programming couldn't adapt to the new situation fast enough. The viewing chamber erupted in cheers as dozens of Ravager ships collided, their perfect formation becoming their perfect doom. The remaining black ships retreated, jumping back into the void they came from. "Station shields at 15%, the AI reported. Enemy forces retreating. First victory against Ravager forces confirmed." Lisa caught Vex's compound eyes studying her. "Now you see," she said quietly, "why Earth believes in peace through strength. We don't want to fight, but when we must." She gestured to the aftermath of battle outside. The council chamber was silent except for the sound of emergency repairs. Humanity had shown its true face today. The real question was, how would the galaxy react to having such dangerous allies? The emergency council meeting chamber was smaller than the main hall, but it felt more crowded with tension. Holograms of the battle played above the table, showing Earth's ships dancing through space like dark angels. Commander Stone stood beside Lisa, his military uniform, a sharp contrast to her diplomatic attire. His gray hair and weathered face spoke of years of experience, but his eyes were sharp as he addressed the council. "The dogs of war are just the beginning," he said, touching a control panel. New holograms appeared, showing more Earth ships hidden throughout council space. "We have 3 more fleets ready to deploy." High Commander Vex leaned forward, his metallic body reflecting the holographic light. "All this time, while you spoke of peace, we prepared for war," Lisa finished. "It's the human way." The council president's crystalline form sparkled as they spoke. "Tell us about these dogs of war. How can they fight so differently?" Stone smiled. "Each ship carries an AI based on Earth's greatest military minds. Alexander, Napoleon, Sun Tzu, Patton. Their strategies, their insight, their genius, all digitized and improved. But most importantly, they learn. Every battle makes them smarter." He touched another control, and the hologram showed the recent battle in slow motion. "Watch how they adapt. The Ravagers use perfect, unchanging patterns. Our dogs create new strategies on the fly. They improvise. They surprise. They do the unexpected." "Like that gravity well trick," Vex noted, his mandibles clicking in appreciation. "No organic commander would have risked such a dangerous maneuver." "Exactly," Stone nodded. "The dogs calculated a 68% chance of success. In war, those are excellent odds." A scaled alien diplomat raised a clawed hand. "But why hide these capabilities? Why pretend to be merely peaceful?" Lisa stepped forward. "Because peace is always our first choice. Earth learned through countless wars that victory often comes at too high a price. We developed the dogs of war not to conquer, but to defend. They are our guardians, not our masters." The holograms shifted again, showing the dogs of war's advanced systems. Stone explained each feature with pride. Quantum computers that process strategy faster than thought. Adaptive shields that learn from each hit. Hulls that repair themselves using nanites. But most importantly, ethical constraints that prevent them from ever being used for conquest. "Impressive." Vex stood, his tall frame towering over the table. "The Steelheart Empire would be honored to fight alongside such warriors. Our fleets are yours to command." Other council members began offering their support. The scaled aliens had advanced energy weapons. The crystalline species possessed powerful shields. One by one, they pledged their forces to the cause. The council president raised their arms for silence. "It seems humanity has changed the equation. Commander Stone, we hereby grant you authority over all council defense forces. Ambassador Reed, we trust you to ensure this power is used wisely." Lisa and Stone shared a look. This was what Earth had hoped for. Not dominance, but partnership. "There's something else you should know," Stone said gravely. "Our analysis of the Ravager attack pattern suggests they weren't just testing our defenses. They were running from something." The chamber went quiet. Lisa felt a chill as Stone continued. Their formation wasn't just an attack pattern. It was a desperate retreat. Something out there in the dark scared even the Ravagers. "Then we must prepare," Vex declared. "My engineers can begin integrating our technology with the dogs of war immediately." Stone nodded. "And we'll teach your crews how to fight alongside our AIs. Together, we'll be stronger than any of us could be alone." Lisa watched as military commanders from a dozen species began discussing strategy with Stone. This was humanity's gift to the galaxy, not just the dogs of war, but the balance between peace and strength. The wisdom to know when to negotiate and when to fight. Outside the station's windows, Earth ships patrolled alongside alien vessels, their combined fleets casting long shadows in the starlight. The dogs of war had been unleashed, but they would serve as guardians of peace, not harbingers of destruction. The real test was still to come. The medical bay of the Council station was filled beyond capacity. Injured crew members from a dozen species lay in beds, their moans and cries mixing with the beeping of medical equipment. Lissa walked between the rows, her heart heavy as she recorded each casualty for Earth's records. Third Fleet lost 60% of its ships, Commander Stone reported, walking beside her. His uniform was torn, and a bandage covered his left arm. The dogs of war are adapting, but the Ravagers keep coming in larger numbers. They stopped at a bed where High Commander Vex lay, his metallic body scared and dented from battle. One of his arms had been completely torn off, sparks occasionally jumping from the damaged circuits. The Steelheart Empire lost 2 colony worlds today, Vex said, his voice crackling with static. But we took 4 of theirs. His remaining hand formed a fist. The combined fleet tactics are working. Lisa touched his undamaged shoulder gently. Save your strength, Commander. We'll need you for what's coming. The station shook slightly as another wave of damaged ships docked for repairs. Through the window, Lisa could see the dogs of war moving in new formations, protecting the civilian evacuation ships. The AIs had learned to prioritize saving lives over achieving tactical victories. Ambassador, a young aide rushed into the medical bay, holding a datapad. We've decoded some of the Ravager communications. Lisa and Stone hurried to a nearby command center. The council president was already there, their crystalline form dulled with exhaustion. On the main screen, strange symbols scrolled past as the computer translated them. It's not a war chant, Lisa whispered as she read. It's a warning. Stone leaned closer. They're running from something they call the void that hungers, some kind of space-dwelling entity that consumes entire systems. That's why they've been destroying worlds, the council president realized. They're not conquering. They're trying to create a dead zone to stop this thing from spreading. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. Show me the casualty reports from their latest attacks. Holograms appeared, showing the battle data. Lisa studied them carefully, years of diplomatic training helping her see patterns others might miss. Look, she pointed. They're not targeting population centers anymore. They're hitting power plants, energy sources, anything that creates significant energy signatures. Trying to dim the lights before something bigger comes hunting. Stone muttered. Classic prey behavior. Vex had dragged himself to the doorway, leaning heavily against the frame. Are you suggesting we try to talk to them? After everything they've done? Lisa turned to face the room. They're scared. Fear makes any species dangerous. But if we can show them a better way. It's too risky, one of the council members protested. We should finish them while we have the advantage. The dogs of war have analyzed every battle. Stone cut in. The Ravager's ships are running at minimum power levels. They're barely keeping their fleet operational. This might be our only chance to end this without more bloodshed. The council president's surface rippled with decision patterns. Ambassador Reed, you've proven humanity's wisdom before. What do you suggest? Lisa straightened her back, ignoring her own fatigue. Let me try to contact them. Not with weapons, but with hope. If this void is really coming, we'll need every ally we can get. And if they refuse? Vex asked. Then the dogs of war will do what they must. Stone answered grimly. But we owe it to everyone who's died to try peace first. Lisa looked around the room at the faces of different species, all united by loss and fear. On Earth, we learned that the hardest peace to forge is the one that comes after the most bitter fighting. But those are the peace treaties that last the longest. The station's lights flickered as another damaged ship docked. Outside, the dogs of war continued their patrol, their AI minds already calculating the odds of success for a peaceful solution. The price of peace had been high, but the cost of failure would be even higher. The true test of humanity's wisdom was about to begin. The Ravager command ship was massive and black, like a piece of space itself had been carved into a vessel. Lisa stood on the bridge of the Thunder Child, beside Commander Stone, watching as their ship approached for the peace talks. "The dogs of war are in position," Stone said quietly. "If anything goes wrong, they'll get us out." The council had argued for hours about this meeting. In the end, they'd agreed to Lisa's plan, but not without precautions. 3 fleets of combined council forces waited at strategic points, ready to attack if needed. "Receiving transmission," the ship's AI announced. "Translating now." The hologram that appeared showed a creature that made everyone on the bridge gasp. The Ravager leader wasn't the monster they'd imagined, but a thin, almost fragile-looking being with too many eyes and trembling hands. "You wish to speak of peace," the Ravager's translated voice shook, "while death itself hunts us all." Lisa stepped forward. "We know about the void. We want to help." The Ravager's eyes all blinked at different times. "Help? We've destroyed your worlds, killed your people. Why would you help us?" "Because whatever's out there is a threat to everyone," Lisa said. Show us what you're running from." The Ravager leader hesitated, then pressed something on their control panel. New images appeared, and the temperature on the bridge seemed to drop. They watched in horror as an enormous dark mass moved through space, consuming everything in its path. Stars dimmed as it passed. Planets crumbled. It wasn't a ship or a fleet. It was like a living hole in reality. "The void that hungers," the Ravager whispered. "It follows the light of civilization. The more energy we use, the more it's drawn to us. We thought if we destroyed enough worlds, dimmed enough stars, it would starve." Commander Stone's face was grim. "How long until it reaches council space?" "Days, maybe hours. Our sensors can barely track it anymore." Lisa felt the weight of billions of lives on her shoulders. "We need to evacuate the outer systems immediately." "Evacuation is impossible," the Ravager said. "You don't understand. It's not just coming. It's already here." The ship's sensors screamed to life. On every screen, darkness bloomed like spilled ink across the stars. The void was vast beyond comprehension, its edges seeming to bend both space and time. "All ships, battle positions," Stone ordered. The dogs of war moved with perfect precision, forming a barrier between the void and the inhabited systems. "No," the Ravager leader cried. "Weapons are useless. Energy weapons feed it. Physical weapons pass through it. We've tried everything." Lisa watched the tactical displays, her diplomatic mind racing. Then she saw it, a pattern in the way the void moved. "It's not random," she said suddenly. "Commander, have the dogs analyze its movement pattern. It's not just following energy signatures. It's following patterns of life itself." The AIs processed the data in microseconds. Confirmation flashed across the screens. The void was drawn to organized energy patterns, the very signature of civilization itself. "Then we give it chaos," Stone said, understanding dawning in his eyes. He turned to the Ravager leader. "Your ships, combined with our dogs of war, we can create energy patterns so random, so chaotic that it can't track them. A void of chaos to fight the void that hungers," the Ravager said slowly. "But the energy required, many ships would be lost." "Better some ships than all life in the galaxy," Lisa said. She looked at both commanders. "We started as enemies. Let's end this as allies." The Ravager's many eyes studied her, then turned to Stone. "Your dogs of war. They can coordinate this." Stone nodded. "They're already calculating the patterns. But we'll need your ships, your knowledge of the void." Outside, the darkness grew closer. The dogs of war held their positions, ready to defend not just humanity now, but all life. The true test wasn't going to be about military might or diplomatic skill. It would be about finding order in chaos and hope in the darkest of spaces. The final battle was about to begin. The combined fleet hung in space like a constellation of hope. Human, Ravager, and Council ships moved in perfect chaos, their energy signatures creating patterns designed to confuse and distract the Void. The Dogs of War led the dance, their AI minds coordinating the massive effort. Lisa stood on the Council Station's observation deck, watching the final preparations. Commander Stone and the Ravager leader, whom they now knew as First Speaker, worked together at the tactical station. The sight would have been impossible just days ago. The Void approaches optimal range, the station AI announced. All ships report ready. Through the massive windows, they could see it coming. The darkness between stars grew deeper, hungrier. Light itself seemed to bend away from the entity's approach. All ships, execute pattern Delta, Stone ordered. Dogs of War, take point. The fleet burst into action. Ships moved in seemingly random directions, their engines creating a wild dance of energy signatures. The Dogs of War led each group, their advanced AI helping other ships maintain the complex patterns. Energy dispersion at maximum. First Speaker reported, their many eyes fixed on the displays. The Void, it's slowing. Lisa watched as the enormous dark mass seemed to hesitate. The chaotic energy patterns were working, confusing its hunting instincts. Now for Phase 2, Stone said grimly. All ships, prepare quantum fold generators. This was the riskiest part of their plan. The combined research of all species had suggested that the Void existed partly in normal space and partly in quantum space. If they could force it fully into one realm or the other, they might be able to trap it. Dogs of War reporting quantum field alignment ready, the tactical officer announced. First Speaker's hands moved across their controls. Ravager ships in position. We're ready. Lisa touched her quantum transmitter one last time. This is Ambassador Reed to all ships. Remember what we fight for. Not just for our own worlds, but for all life in the galaxy. Together, we are stronger than any force of darkness. Execute quantum fold, Stone ordered. Every ship in the fleet activated their quantum generators at once. Space itself seemed to ripple and bend. The Void, caught in the massive quantum field, began to distort. Field strength at maximum. First Speaker called out. The Void is shifting. The Dogs of War moved with incredible precision, adjusting their positions microsecond by microsecond to maintain the quantum field. Council ships provided power, while Ravager vessels used their experience to predict the Void's reactions. Quantum breach detected. The station AI reported. The Void is being pulled into quantum space. Everyone watched as the massive dark entity began to twist and compress. It fought against the quantum field, its edges reaching out like hungry tentacles. But the combined fleet held firm, their chaotic patterns preventing it from finding purchase in normal space. With a flash of light that paradoxically seemed to darken the universe, the Void was torn from normal space. In its place, a spinning quantum anomaly remained, a prison built of science and desperation. Quantum fold successful, the AI confirmed. The Void has been contained. The observation deck erupted in cheers. Species that had been enemies days ago embraced as friends. The Dogs of War returned to their patrol patterns, ever vigilant. Hours later, Lisa stood with Stone and First Speaker as they addressed the Council. The threat is contained, but not ended, First Speaker said. The quantum prison must be maintained. Stone nodded. The Dogs of War will help coordinate a permanent guard fleet. All species will participate in shifts. The Council President's crystal form sparkled with approval. And what of the Ravagers? Will you join the Council now? First Speaker looked at Lisa, who smiled encouragingly. Yes, they said. We've learned that destruction is not the answer to fear. The humans showed us a better way. The Dogs of War will remain. Stone added, but as guardians, not conquerors. Earth's gift to the galaxy is not just our military might, but our understanding that true peace comes through cooperation. Lisa looked out at the fleet, where ships of all species patrol together. The dogs of war moved among them, no longer just weapons, but teachers and protectors. Humanity had brought both war and peace to the stars. In the end, it was the combination of both that had saved them all. The galaxy was entering a new age. The dogs of war would help guard the peace, and all species would face the future together.